You don't wanna ride the bus like this, never know who to trust like this. You don't wanna be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on that stage singing.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome to Lifestyles Defined. Welcome back to another episode of AMA. How this works is you ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will get to them in upcoming videos. Today's question comes from Valeria Delesio. I hope I pronounced that right. Hi Ramon, Microsoft first released a beta OS asking 500 or more for phones like the 950 and 950 XL. Most of the apps are not even in alpha release. Yesterday they released Instagram in beta, but looking at the video posted by Pocket Now, it cannot even be considered an app. I used to talk about how much it crashes. I do not understand how consumers can still purchase their mobile products / services if so. In addition, I'm sure that if it was done by Apple or Google, they would have been probably claimed or shamed. Do you really think or hope they can still compete? And if yes, how? Thanks in advance, Val. So, I think not. Satya Nadella hit the nail on the head when he said, this is for the fans. This generation, the 950 to 950 XL, this is a fanfare release or hardware cycle. What I don't agree with is how they release these phones. I don't care how much they cost. If it's for me, I'm buying it. If it, and you know what that means, right? I'm a Microsoft whore. So if it says Microsoft on, I'm buying it. The problem here is this phone should never have been on the shelves at AT&T or T-Mobile. This should not have been a phone that you can walk in to the Microsoft store as a regular person and buy. You know, there should have been some screen in here, just like Google did with the Google Glass. I thought that was dope. By no means do I want to live in a world where the enthusiast is really cut back from what he or she wants because it's not ready for Consumerville, but at the same time, don't release something for the enthusiast to Consumerville. I feel like that damages the brand, and that's exactly what's been going on here. So the question of that was an answer to the question of you don't understand why consumers buy or could buy products when the OS and the hardware is in such a state. I don't think the regular consumers were, or I could be wrong. I would hope it's more the enthusiast that's been doing it. But if Google or Apple had been doing it, yeah, we would have had their head. But they're so far gone. They're so mature. They didn't have to start over. They were just built from the ground up for what they are today. And that's a lot of the challenge as to why Windows Phone is the way it is. And I think, you know, it's that leapfrog mentality. Windows Phone definitely did leapfrog Google and Apple in the way it does a lot of things. Just didn't do it in hardware, and I'm sorry, in software when it comes to the apps that are available and so on and so forth. But do I think they can still compete? Like I've always said, there are always people out there who want to separate themselves from the rave, the what's popular, and there's always people out there who just won't like Apple, who don't like Google, and there's people out there who see how live tiles work and they go whoa, and there's people out there who realize how elegant the entire Windows Phone OS is, and they're like yeah, and then there's people out there who can't afford to spend $500 for an iPhone SE. So something like a $300 Lumia that does not run slow and wouldn't be considered an old device or does not run as clunky as something in the same price range on the Android side, they would really appreciate a Windows Phone. So I think there are very, very small subsets of people who will continue to buy Windows phones, and I think that's how they compete. They do have their niche, right? And then there's professionals. For instance, not a lot of people know, but NYPD, they rolled out Windows phones to the entire force. So every officer now has a Windows phone, a number, and an email address, and an app that was made for them from the ground up to be aware of where they are, what's going on, to get their calls through to the phones ASAP, so on and so forth. So there's that, right? And it continues to be a Microsoft ecosystem, a lot around the ecosystem Microsoft does, the Xbox, the OneDrive, the Office, all of this stuff, Skype, all of that stuff. If you are asterisk, if you are a Windows Phone fan, it works beautifully for you. And then again, asterisk, most of that stuff also works beautifully on other platforms. But I think they can compete. But we need to really sit back and define what competing is to us. At this, if competing means the number of units sold, then no, they can't compete. And this is very similar to what Microsoft is currently going through in the PlayStation versus Xbox conversation, right? They can't compete with the numbers. But when you look at the news in gaming every week, it seems as if Microsoft is just dropping dimes. They're doing dope things every single week. And then you look at PlayStation, it's relatively stagnant. Now, to me, Sony can't compete with the amount of innovation that's happening on the Xbox. But then when you get into a conversation with the person in the street, well, everyone I know owns a PlayStation, so Microsoft can't compete. It's sort of like, what is your perception of competing? But if you're talking sales, no, I don't think they'll ever be able to compete. At this point, I think number one, who I would say is Apple, is long gone, and number two is not too far off their ass, and they're doing a good job at it. And who I would say is Google. And this is my new device here, my Nexus 6P. Got the review for that coming, so I know you guys, a few of you guys been on Snapchat like, yo, what's the verdict? It's a dope device. And then there's something like then there's Microsoft, and there's no fourth. And I think they will continue to be a distant third. And that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a distant third. And again, it just matters in what conversation you get into and how the word or the concept of competing is really explained, or what your idea of it is. So thank you much for your question. I hope I answered that well. Like the video if you like it. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace.
From the deep forest into the sun.